what is going on, everybody? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video, and I'm showing so much consistency today because I posted so much in just one day. So, hope you enjoyed the content so far, and I will be posting more in different what if contents. After part 4, I will be posting a different what if besides from what if Goku was born with God Teeth. I will be posting more upon other anime type subjects, so make sure to stay tuned because I will be posting something, and I hope you guys enjoy that. But without further ado, let's get started. So I was saying before I ended the video, the internships were cut short, so they went back to UA, did their normal studies and stuff, and that's how that went. And my memory kind of got foggy, but I remember that they had the training camp. So when the internships were cut short, they had a little bit of a training, not training camp yet, but just a little bit of a training session with All Might and stuff, and a little bit of rescue training here and there, just for a day or so, just to get them in the game and to show them how hero work actually works. So I skipped to a week, and I apologize for the background noises again. I apologize, family and stuff, so my apologies, but we move. So the training camp starts in a week, and a week goes by, and they are all on the bus. And not to forget, but Melissa is also here, so Melissa is also in UA because she attended UA. Okay, just gotta make that clear. So they're on the bus traveling to the site of the UA camp, and they stop by and at the highway area, and it's still way far away from the camp. And they all exit the bus, thinking it's just a little breather from sitting down for hours. But Aizawa says, we're here. You're gonna make your way to the camp now. Everyone is still caught off guard that they didn't realize that the wild pussycats, the one who could manipulate the earth, just dropped them down from the cliff. But Midoriya was floating in the air, saying, Aizawa sensei, that wasn't very nice. And Aizawa says, Midoriya, can you please restore the class? Midoriya nods his head and agrees and goes down with them, and they do the thing like normal. They'd still be an hour late. Well, not Midoriya. He arrived at camp an hour earlier than everyone else, and just started to do a little bit of light training, a little bit of martial arts training here and there, and a bit of push-ups, just to get warmed up. And everyone soon arrived, battered and bruised, tired. Kota didn't try to do the same thing as he did before. And yeah, they had their dinner, and Midoriya notices that Kota is a little strange. He doesn't like heroes. So Midoriya was gonna ask about Kota, but he left and didn't know where Kota went. So he just went to the hot springs, and he went in to take a little dip, and he saw Mineta saying, well, they're meant to be climbed. And Midoriya was about to stop him until Kota pushed him off, and Mineta landed on Ida, and let's just say that it didn't end out very well for Ida. And so did Kota. He fell off the wall as well, and not Goku, but Deku ended up catching him and taking him to Mandalay, and she explained everything then to Midoriya. And Deku kind of understood. He understood how Kota felt. So yeah, that's that. And next few days of training camp were hellish for all the rest of them except Midoriya. Midoriya found this training very easy and started to do other things with his training, improving himself to Kaioken times 10, his pseudo version, improving it to at least times 10, but if it's the real version, it would just be times 6. That's how much stronger the original Kaioken really is. But the pseudo version will just have to do. But Midoriya still increased his training regimen and helped others who are good with close quarters to improve their strength even further. Even those who aren't so good at close quarters combat, he helped them improve with that. So yeah, Midoriya is quite a helper. And we move to when they're making their dinner and everything. Midoriya sees that Koda isn't there, so he brings him some curry and takes it to Koda. And Koda's sitting on his cliff, his little secret hideout, and Midoriya gives him some food. He starts talking to him and says, Koda, why do you hate heroes so much? And Koda just replies, you wouldn't understand. Heroes are just liars. And Muscular from the corner says, I agree, kid. And starts chuckling maniacally. And Midoriya senses the malicious intent, grabs Koda, and starts jumping away. Starts backing up a little bit and tells Koda, Koda, run. You do not understand. You have to run immediately, as fast as you can. And Koda absolutely did not disobey. He ran for his life, hauling himself all the way back to the camp. And Midoriya starts to fight Muscular, and Muscular is getting wailed on. Muscular isn't much of a challenge. Deku, my apologies. Deku is wailing on the man, giving him all the beatings. He's giving him all the martial arts techniques he knows, punching him, kicking him everywhere, and Muscular is just taking it, trying to defend, but his muscles aren't strong enough to absorb all the attacks. He tries to go for a deadly blow, but Midoriya dodges this and starts barraging him with more attacks, and Muscular was knocked out when Midoriya punched him straight in the face, straight into the canyon or the mountain, and Muscular is therefore knocked out. Midoriya flies over to Aizawa, seeing that he defeated a dummy clone of Dabi, and Midoriya says, they're after someone. Muscular, at his last breath, says that they're looking for someone, and mumbles, Bakugo. And Midoriya heard this and finished off Muscular. So yeah, that's how that went. And so we move. Midoriya dashes straight towards the forest, helping anyone and everyone he can from Class 1B and Class 1A. And he saw that Spinner and stuff are fighting. Yes, I still got Dabi and all that who joined. And all the people who are fighting. And I apologize for the background noises again. But we move. And everyone's fighting the villains. Midoriya knocks the villains out with ease and finds Bakugo fighting with Todoroki, and they're up against Moonfish, and they're struggling a bit here because their attacks aren't working on him. So Midoriya quickly comes from behind and drops Moonfish into the ground, knocking him out immediately. Todoroki and Bakugo are relieved that they didn't have to continue fighting him anymore, and say, Midoriya, you're here. Oh, what took you so long? Midoriya, you're here. So, have you found anyone else from our class? Bakugo says, we didn't need your help, you damn monkey. And Midoriya says, you're welcome. I have found some people, but it's hard to say. I don't know if they're all alright. I found a few, but not all. So, they started to travel in a group and found more of their classmates, and they start heading towards Uraraka, and where they were fighting Toga. Midoriya knocks Toga away, and they didn't have the same interaction, but he did knock Toga away. And Midoriya says that we're traveling with a group, and Todoroki and Bakugo at the front and back, and then Uraraka notices that Bakugo wasn't there anymore. Midoriya, Deku, I don't see Bakugo. And Midoriya says, what? Bakugo's right there. When he turns, seeing no Bakugo, and senses someone from the bushes jump into the trees, and Midoriya, his eyes widened, and says, no, Bakugo was their target. Also, Tokoyami was gone. Both of them were the targets. And Midoriya transforms into Super Saiyan 2, legit in front of Mr. Compress, knocking him out immediately. He was faster than Mr. Compress can perceive. I took the pearls and released both Tokoyami and Bakugo. But before Midoriya can sigh of relief, they were teleported, both of them in front of his eyes. Kurogiri teleported, uses a portal right under Tokoyami and Bakugo's feet, sending them to the villain headquarters, sending Mr. Compress into a portal as well, and sending all the villains back. Midoriya, or Deku, tries to grab both of their hands. He tries to reach for them, but he was too late. The portal closed, and Midoriya roars in anger, releasing such an energy spike, or a ki spike, that it shook all of Japan, and even all of the world. As Deku roars in anger, and this rage he feels is giving him the boost in power, and he transforms into Super Saiyan 3. His power exceeded the limitations of Super Saiyan 2, entering the state of Super Saiyan 3. And he's a bit weaker than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but he's still very strong. And Midoriya, in anger, but anger and frustration, sadness and disappointment, all the feelings he's feeling right now, and the shock he felt, and the strain on his body, he passed out because of all the strain on his body and mental health. And it's because he lost people here. He lost Tokoyami and Bakugo in front of his eyes. He couldn't handle it, and he passed out. A week or so later, the heroes are deciding to plan an invasion on the villain headquarters, and Midoriya woke up finally. And Kirishima stated a plan that I have to go save Bakugo and Tokoyami. I can't let them down. And Ida does his speech about the thing, but Midoriya stands up and says, I have to go save Bakugo. Even if he's such a douchebag at times, he's still my childhood best friend. I can't let him down. Those villains are going to pay. And Midoriya has a look in his eyes, and Ida says, stop! Don't make the same mistake I did! You're the one who saved me, but it's my turn to save you if you're doing this plan. And Midoriya ignores him, and at night time, they all arrive. Yaoyorozu, Momo Yaoyorozu, Kirishima, Todoroki, Deku, and Ida arrive. Ida tries to punch Deku, and he lands it straight in his face, but Midoriya didn't move a single muscle. And Midoriya says, I'm not here to attack the villains. I never said I was. I'm not like you, Ida. I'm not going for the villains. I'm going for Bakugo and Tokoyami. And that shook Ida a little bit, and they started to go to the villain base. But Midoriya says he found a quicker way to do it. He put his hand on his forehead. He's been working on this move, the instant transmission. He's been working on this for a while, and everyone just grabs on his shoulders He teleports them to the nearest energy that is near the same energy as Bakugo, and the same energy. Apologies for the noise again. I apologize, but he senses the energy of Bakugo and Tokoyami. But he teleports to the wrong base since he found another key signature that switched, and he locked onto that one instead. The energy was of the Nomu base, where the Nomus were getting created, and that's what All for One was. It was, and they saw all the Nomus. They were horrified. And Midoriya was about ready to go until they heard a massive explosion, seeing the heroes arrive, and All for One, the big and bad himself, take down the heroes. And All Might comes rushing to the scene after he failed to protect Bakugo and Tokoyami. And Midoriya sees his chance, goes into the Kaioken, and blitzes to Bakugo and Tokoyami, flying them out of there. And he flies them to a faraway place, like it's still in the city, just far away from the battle, and flies back over as fast as he can. And he teleports the rest of his, arrives back at the scene, teleports the rest of the people who came on the mission to the same place as Bakugo and Kirishima, and he teleports to All Might and starts walking to All Might, saying, "All Might, you can't do this alone." As All Might was already almost out of gas, and All Might says, "Young Midoriya, get out of here!" And he dashes towards All for One, sending a Detroit smash, and All for One just catches it with his fist and releases an air cannon blast, sending All Might into a few buildings. And Midoriya enters Kaioken times 10 and fights All for One in a taijutsu bout. And so far Midoriya looks like he's winning, but the enhancement quirks All for One has, he activates every single one of them, and that overwhelms Midoriya, and All for One sends an air cannon straight towards Midoriya, sending him to the same exact area he sent All Might. And then Midoriya, when he lands into the building, a golden aura bursts forth from that building, and there he comes, Super Saiyan. He fights All for One in Super Saiyan, and it's already a one-man stomp. All Might joins in as well, creating this an even more unfair match. All for One's getting beaten, and he tries to, using all of his enhancement quirks. You can only last at least 30 seconds in all those enhancement quirk states. He's not in his prime, and his body can't handle all of the stress, so he can only last 30 seconds in that state. He pushed All Might back, punching him straight in the wound that he inflicted all those years ago, sending him back, and sending him to turn into his Small Might form. But before he's turned into a Small Might form, he blasts a wind cannon to an innocent person, and All Might shields that person. And then the world sees All Might's Small Might form, his true form. And Midoriya sees it and says, "All Might!" And then All Might says, "Don't worry about me. Get the civilians to safety." Midoriya teleports and breaks all the rubble off the woman free, and teleports her to safety, and teleports back into the battlefield, transforming into Super Saiyan 2, fighting All for One. It's pretty easy. Midoriya's still holding back. But to be honest, All for One seems a little different. He's stronger. Well, Midoriya isn't holding back. I'm not gonna say he's holding back, but All for One seems different. All for One's energy and regeneration is not just his quirks. He feels different. And All for One says that, "I know you are a different breed. You were able to defeat Shigaraki easily. So I got someone named Dr. Gero to enhance a few things for me. He's a bit of a better doctor, more experienced in science. And I got him to fix something up for me." And yes, Dr. Gero is in this story. Dr. Giro's in the story, and he made All For One 25% android. Since he doesn't want to be fully android, he's made 25% android. That's why Midoriya's struggling so much. So Midoriya adds Kaioken times 10 to his Super Saiyan 2. Remember, it's just a pseudo version Kaioken, okay? So it's not going to give him times 10 boost. It's actually just going to give him times 6. And he starts fighting All For One. And yet he realizes that All For One's health factor is insane. Every hit he lands, he recovers. And Midoriya is struggling. He's trying to fight him off, but he can't. And he gets blown back with a wind current and lands and hits a building. And Midoriya says, "No way, he's so strong." And Dr. Gero comes out and flies up to All For One, saying, "This is marvelous, my creation." And Midoriya stares down at Dr. Gero, seeing that he's also mechanical. And Midoriya transforms into Super Saiyan 3. And the world shook at the might of his power, and he dashes forward, destroying Dr. Gero with one blast. Dr. Gero wasn't expecting such power, so he was instantly KO'd. And he starts Deku starts barraging All For One with so many attacks. His regeneration factor almost couldn't keep up. And I'm not gonna give him infinite stamina, because if I did, this would be a one-man stomp. Midoriya would get stomped. Stamina, and if you keep this going. I said his body couldn't take it. That's because he wasn't using his android parts yet. He wasn't testing them out, okay? He can activate it on will. It's basically a quirk. He created a quirk, basically. That's how smart Dr. Gero is. He created a mechanical kind of quirk, not making himself fully mechanical. But I know that sounds very hard to understand, but I'm just gonna say plot, okay? Plot. And that's how he can do it. And All For One can use all of his enhancements and all of his attacks without any strain to his body. And even with a strain, he's got regeneration, and it's not really bothering him. Midoriya is getting overwhelmed even at Super Saiyan 3, and Midoriya can't handle this. Midoriya is huffing and puffing, saying, "No way, Super Saiyan 3 should be enough to handle him." And All For One scoffs, saying, "You really think you can defeat me with that power of yours? Even with your power, the power I hold is even stronger." And he laughs maniacally. And All Might's still down there in a small might form, huffing and puffing, and breathing heavily. And he can't really move right now because he's basically broken and battered. Midoriya's fighting this creature. All Might says, "There's no way young Midoriya can stop him. He's so strong. We don't stop him here and now. He's gonna destroy the whole world." And Midoriya remembered that one ace in the hole he has, the Great Ape. So it's nighttime, and he hasn't looked up at the moon yet since the clouds were covering it. There's a whole lot of clouds, okay? And he looks up at the moon, and All For One realizes what he's about to do, and realizes that's the form he took on, and dashes towards him, trying to stop him. But Endeavor blasts some flames at him, just trying to stall time. And Midoriya transforms into the Great Ape, but golden. And Midoriya roars, and sending a big shockwave, sending All For One back, and starts attacking All For One with these wild attacks. And All For One cannot handle all these attacks at once. Midoriya is legit manhandling him right now, but Midoriya starts to feel something happening. and he starts to raise both his hands and hit his chest, roaring up at the moon, extending his hands up high, and starts transforming. Yes, guys, yes, you heard it right. He is transforming into Super Saiyan 4. Okay, I know you guys are like, what? Super Saiyan 4? But how? It's because the 25% android part of him, of All For One, increased his power exponentially to the point that it's basically the same strong as Android 7. Ah, man. I'm gonna say 50%, okay? Scratch what I said, 25%. 50% android. And, yeah. Scratch what I said about saying no stamina, no, infinite stamina. He has infinite stamina. It makes more sense to give him that and all of his abilities instead of just saying 25%, because Midoriya could easily handle him in Super Saiyan 3. But since he's transforming Super Saiyan 4, he needs, All For One needs to boost and stuff. That's why, okay? Okay, so he was fighting a 50% android kind of guy. So that's why he was transforming into Super Saiyan 4, okay? So I just scratched everything I said about no infinite stamina and just 25%. It's 50% now. So that's basically it. And Midoriya transforms into the state of Super Saiyan 4 as he walks like a hulking man of muscle towards him. He's legit just radiating so much energy. All For One is shaking in his boots right now. And All For One charges his ki, since he's basically android right now. Charges his ki and starts to do a taijutsu bout with Super Saiyan 4 Izuku Midoriya. And let's just say it's not going too well for him. Izuku Midoriya clobbers him and defeats him, and then the match ends in legit 5 more seconds. Midoriya uppercuts the man straight into the sky and yells, Kamehameha, and releases the blast all the way to All For One, disintegrating him. And that's that for All For One. He was disintegrated by Izuku Midoriya in Super Saiyan 4. And all this stress in the physical body he felt made Izuku Midoriya pass out. And he woke up 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later he woke up, and that gave him the biggest Zenkai boost of his life. The biggest Zenkai boost. He woke up 2 weeks later, and All Might retired. He said it on the news, but Midoriya was still passed out. And yeah, Midoriya was praised for what he's done and everything. And that's basically that. And he's got his hero license because of that incident. And all the bad guys who saw that just went into hiding. So this is the final part. Okay, the final part of What If Deku Was a Saiyan. The part 4 is the final part. But I'm gonna add a little twist. I'm not gonna end it right there. I'm gonna add a little twist. Okay? I said Dr. Gero created some android type things. Well, he created a weaker version of Cell. Yes, a weaker version of Cell. And when Deku woke up, Cell also hatched from its little thing and started terrorizing the city and absorbed few heroes. And he's become a lot stronger. Not the same strong as Midoriya, but stronger. All For One was disintegrated, but Dr. Gero had other backups, and Cell went back to the laboratory where he came from, and Dr. Gero added three finished androids, fully androids. They were androids 17, 18, 16, okay? Those androids. But the reason why they weren't awakened yet, because Dr. Gero didn't awaken them, and Cell awakened them. And when they were awakened, they were absorbed. Then it was like imperfect Cell, and then perfect Cell, and then he just absorbed 18, becoming even stronger. So yeah, he's basically become very strong. Those were just foods, the food of Cell, basically. And oh my goodness, bro, let me speak properly. Dr. Gero created those androids for food for Cell. His ultimate plan was Cell, not all for one. So yeah, that's basically it. And Cell started, perfect Cell started to destroy cities, and Midoriya came out in his blue and black Goku gi and walks out there saying, "Who are you?" And Cell looks at him with a nasty smile and an evil laugh, saying, "I am Cell. Perfect Cell. I am the strongest being on this planet." And as he starts laughing more maniacally, he shoots a death beam straight into an innocent person, and that made Midoriya enraged. And Midoriya says, "You won't last very long." And their fight begins. The weaker Cell, basically. It's not the same strong as the original Cell, but since he absorbed 16, 17, and 18, he's definitely a lot stronger. So, yeah. Yeah, the power levels are a little messed up. My bad on that. But we move. So, Cell starts to charge at Midoriya, and Midoriya transforms into Super Saiyan, not playing around, and starts fighting Cell. But Midoriya realizes that he's getting defeated easily. All of his hits and attacks are getting blocked, and Midoriya starts attacking even more, sending more punches and kicks and barrages, all to Cell, and trying to attack him more and more. But Cell just using perfect defense to deflect every single barrage he sends. And Midoriya steps back 2 steps and yells Kamehameha, and Cell does the exact same. And they had a Kamehameha wave clash, and the key exploded, and Midoriya jumps into the air and turns into Super Saiyan 2 and flies to Cell. Cell, well, he basically has a cell. He doesn't have every cell, but he's basically a mechanical kind of thing. He has, since that he doesn't, oh my gosh, let me speak. Since Saiyans, except Deku, aren't real in this universe, Perfect Cell wouldn't have Super Saiyan or Frieza potential. But he's fully android, and he's absorbed full-powered androids. So he is very strong, just not as strong as the original Cell, because that's actually had potential of Frieza, had Saiyan potential, Saiyan DNA and stuff. That's why. So yeah, and Cell is still holding his best and actually defeating Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Deku. So my apologies, guys. I keep mixing up the names. My apologies. Cell lands a devastating blow, right in Midoriya's face, sending him out of the city. And Cell flies towards him, and at an alarming rate. And Midoriya does his backflip and lands on the ground. And they're in a desolate place. No one's around since Cell punched him, I don't know, into a desert or something. Or into the ocean area. And they start doing their fight there. And the waves in the ocean start to rise after every punch. Midoriya transforms into Super Saiyan 3. And Cell is still handling him, and Midoriya adds Kaioken times 10 to it, and yet he still isn't winning. Cell only using 50% of his power, and Midoriya is going all out in Super Saiyan 3 with Kaioken times 10, trying to stop Cell from harming the city any further. But Cell tries to land a death beam, but Midoriya dodges it and uses the Masenko and blasts it over to Cell. But Cell blocks the attack, dashes towards him, and punches him straight in the face, knocking him right into the water. Like, he basically, you know how you throw a stone and it skips in the ocean? He basically punched him, and now he's skipping like a pebble in the water. That's basically what Cell did. And that Midoriya is like sinking in the water. And Midoriya thinks, no way, this guy's so strong. How's that even possible? Midoriya says, I still have an ace in the hole. And he transforms. He throws an energy ball into the sky, and Cell thought, pathetic, he missed. And then the waters begin to rise into something massive, but then shrink again. And then out comes Super Saiyan 4. In the mixture moon just dissipates, and then out comes Super Saiyan 4 Deku. Deku says, let's see if you can handle this. Super Saiyan 4. And Midoriya starts dashing towards Cell and fighting him, and now they're pretty even. And Cell's getting pushed back, but they're trading even blows. Sometimes Midoriya's in the back foot, and sometimes Cell is. But this fight goes on for another 15 minutes, and Cell and Midoriya land a devastating blow straight into each other's gut. And they're both sent flying backwards. And Midoriya holds his ground, so does Cell. And Cell roars and releases a big key spike energy. And Midoriya also roars and increases his ki and adds Kaioken, so the pseudo version, times 10, and Cell just charges blindly, thinking he can end him now while he's still charging up his ki. And Midoriya has been practicing this martial arts move that he learned, and he just stops the charging ki. He stops charging his Kaioken and turns that completely off. And he closes his eyes and focuses. And he lets go of his ego and calms himself, making a peaceful and calm mind. And a white glow appears on him, and his begins to start glowing a whitish color around him. And he keeps his eyes closed and then opens them, and he's standing still, and his eyes are the same color, but he seems different, Cell thought. And Cell releases a barrage of attacks, but Cell's attacks didn't land. Midoriya had dodged every single one of them. And this is not Ultra Instincts, folks. This is not Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instincts, oh my gosh, I think I butchered that, bro. Ultra Instinct, bro. Ultra Instinct. It's not Ultra Instincts, bro. Man, I butchered the name. Apologies, folks, but this is no ego mode. This is a martial arts technique that was basically in the My Hero universe that was used by ancient martial artists in this universe before quirks were even a thing. This was used in ancient times in Midoriya's universe, that people can fight and dodge every single move in martial arts history. And this was the no ego mode, and this is basically a human replication of Ultra Instinct. And Midoriya has read upon this and practiced it. He's never been able to tap into it for more than a minute, but now he's finally tapped into its full potential. But he knows he can't stay in it for too long because of the mental strain it has. And so he dodges all of Cell's attacks, landing more hits on Cell. And Cell is like, no way, what is this? How is he dodging every single attack I try to land? And Cell tries to land more barrages, more key blasts, and yet none of them land except one. Midoriya slipped up a little bit, letting his ego come back for 1 second. He gets punched right in the face and gets sent flying backwards into a mountain. And Midoriya says, oh, dang it, I let my guard down. He calms himself, lowering his ego to have no ego again, entering no ego mode once more, and fighting Cell in his max potential with no ego mode. And Cell is struggling a lot. He has never fought anyone like this, because this no ego mode is pushing Cell back even further. And at the last moment, when Cell is at his back foot, Cell tries to go for the final attack, tries to end it, but Midoriya dodges him and kicks him straight into the air, and landing multiple barrages of kicks and punches, sending him straight into outer space. And Midoriya can breathe in outer space if you don't already know that, but they enter outer space, and Midoriya teleports behind Cell and starts to basically pile drive him straight into the moon. And Cell's head was basically into the moon, inside the moon, not fully, just his head. And then Midoriya pulls him out and starts swinging him and throws him straight into the sun, trying to throw him into the sun. Cell tries to fly away, but Midoriya teleports in front of him with a Kamehameha wave in his hand and blasts him straight into the sun. And Cell tried to escape, but he got blasted straight into the sun, and Cell's body begins to burn and melt and explode upon contact from the sun. And Midoriya has defeated Cell. Midoriya goes down back to Earth and transforms back into his normal state and breathes heavily. That was the hardest fight I've ever had to face, besides All For One. Midoriya is now claimed victorious, and he moves on to be the greatest hero of all time anyone's ever seen, even better than All Might himself. And no other villain was able to stop Midoriya, and he moved on, carried on with life, and had his own family and stuff. So I will be ending off What If Deku Was a Saiyan here on part 4. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you enjoyed. And make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys on the new What If series. Bye.